short. And it had a short rhyme to remember it. It's very easy, join in if you know it. It goes like this. If the lion's heads are drinking, then London is sinking. That's right, some people struggle with this. There's a more modern version, it goes like this. If the lion's heads are ducked, and of course London is flooded. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Of course, we made up the second one. The first one was genuinely told to the Victorian police. But we have, since 1983, had the Thames flood barrier installed down at Woolwich. And from 1983 until December last year, it actually prevented London from flooding for hundreds of times December last year. Also on our left here, the white building with the green sloped roof. This is the old City of London School for Boys. Winston Churchill and Lord Asquith both went to school here. Today the building belongs to JP Morgan. Have a look below the roof line. There are 4 statues of our greatest scholars. From left to right, Isaac Newton, John Milton, Francis Bacon and Shakespeare. And the last building then, this curved building, sometimes get asked about this. This is called Unilever House, and it's the headquarters for the Lever Brothers. And the Lever Brothers are the company that make a lot of the soaps and detergents here in the UK. Well, this is the first of the Blackfriars Bridges. This is the road bridge. It's the oldest road bridge to cross the Thames. It was opened in 1869 by Queen Victoria. Now, when we come out from underneath the road bridge, you can see some red pillars running left and right of us. And this is all that remains of St Paul's Railway Bridge. Now, this was the first railway line ever to cross the Thames, and it was the London, Dover and Chatham Railway line. Now, modern trains simply became too heavy for it, so they just took the top off. They left the stone pillars where they are. They've actually used some of the stone pillars to expand this bridge, and this is the latest Blackfriars Railway Bridge. Now, they've been working on this bridge since 2009. They're just finishing up now, as it happens. What they've done is they've widened it, they've strengthened it, and they put a station on this bridge. And it's the first bridge to cross the Thames with a station on it. But they have estimated the cost of these modifications at over £500 million. Now we go to the left-hand side. We can just see, dominating the skyline there, the very famous dome and the golden cross of St Paul's Cathedral. Now the building itself was designed by a man called Sir Christopher Wren, and most consider this to be his masterpiece. It does have lots of buildings, monuments and designs in London, and he is in fact buried in the crypts there as well. But the dome you see there, it's the second largest cathedral dome anywhere in the world, second only to the dome that sits on St Peter's in the Vatican City of Rome. And you can go up to the top. If you look at the very top of the dome, you see some railings up there. You might see there are people walking around up there. It's open to the public. It's a lot cheaper than the London line, and the views off there just as good. Unfortunately, there's no steps. There's no elevators to take to the top. There's a lot of steps though. 528 steps.
Oh, this is even taller than the monument.
But there's some good views there. Also on the left, the City of London School. Harry Potter fans. Okay. Well, this is where Daniel Radcliffe went to school. Of course, he actually played Harry Potter himself. Now, the bridge we're going underneath, the Millennium Blade Light, designed by a man called Lord Norman Foster, sometimes called the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge, because when it was opened in 2002 by the Queen, it was shut a few hours later by 2 Metropolitan policemen, because it was wobbling so violently that people started falling over. So they had to evacuate the bridge and close it down. It was closed down for 18 months while they repaired it. Now, Lord Foster was questioned about this live on national television, and he was asked why his bridge design was wrong, and he said there was nothing wrong with his design. He said it's the way that people in London thought. On the right hand side, we've got a replica, a white building here with a thatched roof. It's a replica of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Now, it is an exact replica, and that means the building has been made entirely from wood and thatch, and it is the first building to be made from these materials in London since 1666. Now, after the Great Fire of London, the government banned making any buildings in London out of wood and thatch to prevent another fire. That's why the fire took hold so quickly. It went from house to house, roof to roof, burning all the thatch. Now, the building itself was finished in 1997, and it's actually not too expensive to go in there. If you want to stand, it's around £5 a ticket. If you want to be seated, it's about £20 per ticket. Now, the bridge we're approaching, Southwark Road Bridge. Now, without looking up there, I can tell you there's not too much traffic on it, if anything at all. And that's because this is the least used bridge to cross the Thames. Now, they made 2 mistakes when they built this in 1921. The first one is they made it into a toll bridge originally, so people avoided it. And the second mistake is where they put it. It's in amongst a maze of roads. It's one-way systems, dead ends, back streets that lead to this bridge, and it is almost impossible to find. Now, if there is any traffic up there, it is normally buses, taxis. You might see the odd lorry going across as well. They're all professional drivers. Now we go back to the right-hand side. Just ahead of us on the right there, we've got a very old tavern. Now this is called the Anchor Tavern. It's not quite the oldest pub on the banks of the Thames, but it's not far off. The Anchor dates back to 1615. It was around at the time of the original Live Theatre, and we're told that Shakespeare and his actors would have used this pub as a change room before going to the original play. I personally think it's a bit of an excuse for a quick night before going to work. More recently, it has been used in one of the Mission Impossible films. Right at the very end, you see Tom Cruise and his team outside the front there having a pint celebrating their latest success.
Really? Oh, that's
Well,
it.
this is a Cannon Street Railway Bridge, ladies and gents. Not too much to say about this bridge. It's very ugly, but it is also the oldest still working railway lines across the Thames. Now, the red brick embankments are the side of the bridge, built by the Victorians, as were the two towers we see there to the left. These are the old Victorian water towers. Now, we'll go back to the right-hand side. Two things to point out here. The first one is the pirate ship there. Now, it's not as old as it looks because it is a replica, and it's a replica of Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind. Now, it was actually built here in the UK, Devon. What's up there? Few people. It's actually built in Appledore, a place called Appledore in Devon, 1976. The original went round the globe once. That one's done it twice. It's now permanently dry dock here, and it is open to the public. It's quite nice to out, especially for the kids.
That's
Any Americans on the top?
Okay, that's the monument.
A few.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some of your history here as well. If you look to the right, we have Southwark Cathedral. It dates back to the 13th century. Now, 403 years ago, the son of a local butcher was christened there. Later on in life, he moved across to America. His name was John Harvard, and he was one of the founding members of the Harvard University. They also have a chapel in there named after him. They have the Harvard Chapel inside Southwark Cathedral.
London Bridge.
And this is London Bridge, a very famous London Bridge. Now, this is the fifth bridge to have spanned on or around this site in the last 2,000 years. The most famous London Bridge was the one which stood for nearly 700 years, the medieval one. That's the one they made the rhyme about. London Bridge is falling down. It did actually burn down in the Great Fire of London. The bridge before this one was taken down after just over 140 years, because it was sinking into the mud, bought by an American man called Donald Cullen, shipped it across to Arizona, now spans Lake Havasu. It's a tourist attraction. The bridge we have today, well, this was completed in 1973. Now, on the left-hand side base, you've got this blue glass building here. I do get asked about this quite a lot. It's quite a nice-looking building, quite modern-looking. Well, I can tell you this is the headquarters and a training ground for London window cleaners. It could be. It's actually called St Magnus House, and this is the headquarters of the only celebrity magazine. Now, it was actually built in the early 1980s, and it was the first fully glass-fronted building to be built here in London. St Magnus House. The building next to it on the left here, the yellow brick building, this is the old Billingsgate Fish Market. There's been a fish market on this site for at least the last 800 years. The building we see here today is about 160 years old. Although it's not a fish market today, it's used for corporate marketing events. Fish markets moved down to the Isle of Dogs. But has anyone seen the latest Fast and Furious film number 6? Top deck? Yeah, a few people. Where they have the car auction halfway through the film. That was filmed just here at Billingsgate.
Oh, Fast and Furious 6.
Now on the right hand side, we have behind us rather nice cruiser here.
That one over there. That one over there.
The warship, the HMS
In
Belfast.
front of the fish market.
I can't really talk about something you can't really see. But we do on occasion get cruise liners come down or up this part of the Thames, just for a quick courtesy visit. But behind there is a warship. We will see the back end of it shortly. The HMS Belfast. She was commissioned in 1939. She's seen a lot of active service, mostly in the Second World War. Involved in the 1952 Korean campaign as well. But she was decommissioned in 1963. But she was saved from the scrapping by the Imperial War Museum, and has been a museum piece since 1971. And well, we will at least see the back end of the Belfast. Now, like the Wellington behind us, Belfast is the very last of her kind. She's the last of the town class
Here we are.
cruisers, weighing just over 11,500 tons. Other boats in her class were the Southampton and the Gloucester. They were decommissioned and scrapped. The names have gone across more modern warships. And there we go. Just see the back end of the Belfast, just on your right hand side there. Now we can see some of those turreted guns there. She's got 12 of them, 6 on the after deck here, 6 on the fore end. Each one of them capable of firing a 100-pound shell, 45 kilo shell if you work in kilos, about 14 land miles. Now the ones at the front, which you couldn't quite see, they're actually they're continuously pointed at services on the keyway services on the M1 goes out of London because it's exactly 14 miles from here, so nobody aims at that services.
There's Tower of London over there.
Reminds me of the movie Battleship, where at the end they had to like take out all the boats from
The Millennium City.
Well, ladies and gents, we are going to come alongside now. This is Tower here. Now, very quickly, just a word on safety. I can see nearly everyone is seated. It's absolutely brilliant. If I can just ask our passengers, do remain seated just while we come alongside. If you have a look left, we've got a bit of a tight gap to squeeze in here. Sometimes you come in with a bit of a bump, pick up the wash from other boats. And sometimes people fall over. So if you can just remain seated, it may take a couple of seconds of your time, and it is safest for our passengers. Now, ladies and gents, from here we are going to head further downstream to Greenwich. This boat does go to Greenwich. Now that's going to take us about 25 minutes. The boat will stay there for half an hour.